Hi, I'm Duncan, and I love questions with strings attached. You're telling me you're asking me a question that has another tiny secret question inside of it? That's sick. But this isn't about me, this is about you. So take a minute to just picture someone who's very important to you. A loved one, family member, friend, could be anyone, but they think very highly of you and you think very highly of them. Or do they? What if they once liked you, and now they don't, but they haven't figured out how to tell you yet? I believe this is called anxiety. Now that's just an example of catastrophizing and fearing the worst, but I do think it is a very primal and human feeling to want to know how you're doing with other people, where you sit in the social order. Back when humans were developing, social circles meant survival. So we all have that little part of our head that wants to be known and liked by people. And there are some internet trends that know you feel that way and will just take advantage of it. They're going to say, oh, you have friends? Do they still like you? And then hook that thought up with diesel fuel and then just use it as an engine of anxiety. It's bad. I don't like it. What I want to do is take an example of that process and run it through a gold pan. I want to know if, in all the muck that it starts out as, does it end up with anything worth value? Is there something hidden within this that we can take away from it? Ladies, gentlemen, shadows in the night, today we are talking about the orange peel test. And we don't have any oranges right now, so I'm just gonna have to edit the most realistic looking orange in my hand. A few weeks ago, we saw this little micro trend pick up steam on places like Twitter and TikTok about asking your partner to peel an orange for you. And I'm just gonna let that sit because it's very simple. And now let's continue. The point being, preparing an orange for someone is a small example of like a small selfless act. You didn't have to get them the orange, but you did. And if you peel it for them, that's just going the extra mile to be nice. The trend part of this was people covertly asking their partners to peel them an orange and then seeing what they would respond as. And some of the responses were cute. Some of them were funny. Some of them were sad. Some of them were scary. That's all over an orange peel. We're covering it so much because memes recycle. They can reincarnate and come back in new, different forms. And it's likely we're gonna see another test like this trend again. But best case scenario, the trend was just a cute display of extra affection. And, it's not even the first internet trend of testing a relationship. Remember when everyone was talking about worms? Would you still like me if I was a worm? That was the question that couples were asking each other, especially a few years ago when this trend sort of spiked. And to some degree, it's still alive today, but boy, it had a spike in popularity. It's an inherently silly question. Nobody's getting turned into worms here, but the point behind it, if you looked deeper into it, was if something changed about me that was not appealing, how would you feel? I hate digging apart these memes, I'm sorry, but that's what it is. It's supposed to be a very cutesy question, and the goal was to get your partner to respond in a very cutesy way. If someone you were dating was like, babe, would you still love me if I was a worm? The goal was for you to answer like, of course I would. I'd pick you up and I'd put you in a little terrarium and I'd keep you around forever. The punchline being the person either ends up a worm lover or you get to act all offended that your partner wouldn't date you if you were a worm. But again, no one's a wereworm, so you should not take it seriously. And not everyone treats these internet trends as trends. They use them. Okay, some people will catch a video of this experiment and then think that is a very legitimate test they can try on someone in their life. I bring this up because on the scale of internet testing that makes its way into the real life, This one's at this end. Wait, how's the I don't get reflections. Would you still love me if I was a worm? Inherently silly question. That is not really even a test. You ask your partner that question, and it's supposed to be a joke either way. Harmless. Compared to what we're going to see with the orange, this was just a very unserious question with non-high stakes. But there are some tests from the internet that don't even have to do with relationships, which I am going to put on the other end of this scale. Let's talk shopping carts. The last time I mentioned this shopping cart thing, someone got really mad because it came from like a website with a lot of hate speech, and it's like, I didn't see it there. Do I look like a hate speech kid? I was on Tumblr and I found it there. Unlike the worms and oranges, the shopping cart theory is more of a solo test that one either gives themselves or notices about someone else. And just like every other internet test, I don't think this should be taken with 100% sincerity, but I do think it has a little bit more of a concrete result than worms. The shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test on whether a person is capable of self-governing. To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task, and one which we all recognize as correct, appropriate thing to do. To return the shopping cart is objectively right. There are no situations other than dire emergencies in which a person is not able to return their cart. Simultaneously, it is not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Therefore, the shopping cart can present itself as the apex example of whether a person will or Therefore, the shopping cart presents itself as the apex example of whether a person will do what is right without being forced to do it. No one will punish you for not returning the shopping cart. No one will fine you or kill you for not returning the shopping cart. You gain nothing by returning the blah 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 blah. A person who is unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage who can only be made to do what is right by threatening them with the law and the force. Again, don't take it all seriously. If we are going to consider this a thought experiment, then I like it because it's about consideration. Probably not as big of stakes as whether a human is an animal or unloving, but, I think it's nice to think about doing that little extra bit to help someone that you don't know, right? Sure, there's probably someone there to get the carts and is paid to do so, but it's still work that they'd have to do, and it doesn't cost anything but time to return it. Coincidentally, I have returned every shopping cart I have ever seen ever since reading that. Just like the worm, this is meant to be an afterthought. This shouldn't be living in your head 24/7. These are not all-encompassing morality tests either. You don't know for a fact someone doesn't have a heart if they don't pick up something that falls in the grocery store. If there's anything to be taken from it, there's a little bit more here than here. Now that we've set our scale, let's figure out where the orange fits into all of this. It's going to be directly in the middle. I don't know if you thought it would be anywhere else. Now, the shopping cart theory is a mental aside that you only think of when you're in the proximity of shopping carts. And the "would you still love me if I was a worm" question was only working with couples on TikTok when sharing that information was big and trendy. And how could anyone take anything from a simple orange to be so serious? Well, let's take a look at the two sites that really dug into this, starting with Twitter. Now, Twitter responded to this trend as it does every trend, mainly, which is to give it 1% consideration and then 99% memes and jokes about it. And that's really what I expected. She said yes. In another life, I would have really just liked peeling oranges for you. I would peel oranges for you, most ardently. Again, cut down to its basics. Love and oranges being peeled, being said as the same. It's good. Plus, it really works because this is an orange-related movie. Peel and prejudice juice. Yeah, I know, horrible joke. I get it. I'll set off the shock collar. These are fun to mindlessly engage with because there's very little commentary that needs thinking when looking at it. You just have to be in on the joke. Now, if you wanted some people to look deeper into this, don't worry. Again, it's Twitter. Straight girlies on TikTok are testing their boyfriends by asking if he'll peel an orange for her if you are wanting to know how dire it was out there. Blunt, but not incorrect. Like, that is what it is. A narcissist would peel your oranges and then bring it up later in a fight about how he does so much for you. That one is a smart reversal, and it's painfully true. I hope all my loved ones know I would peel not only oranges, but dozens of pomegranates for them. Well, let's not make it a competition. This is just going to get complicated if we start escalating fruit. If you wouldn't peel an orange for your wife, you should be shot dead. That's a joke, and I know that. But would you believe me if I said that there are a lot of fights under that tweet, taking it as if it were real? Of course you do. So on Twitter, we saw a reaction to the test. But the test itself is a reaction. And you saw a majority of that data being gathered on TikTok. Now, again, there are not all good or all bad examples. There's a lot of people making videos out there, and some of them are going to be good, and some of them are going to be bad. In my opinion, the best usages of this trend were from people not taking it completely seriously, which I guess is, again, part of the test. It's about embracing the absurdity.
Will you peel the orange?
You want to peel before I get in the house? What? Okay, what do you want me to do with the orange? What?
I am perfectly capable of peeling the orange.
I know that. I'm not saying you're not.
Will you peel the orange?
Do you need me to peel the orange for you? Are you asking me to peel you? You want me to go to the store, buy an orange, and peel it?
If I have an orange.
Okay.
Another good example of the ones that landed for me were ones that had a complete left turn at the end and surprised you with an unexpected answer beyond yes or no.
Do you think you could go get me one and peel it for me?
Are you serious?
Yeah. I really want an orange.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know how to peel an orange.
Oh.
We have fruit cups. Do you want me to get you a fruit cup?
Okay.
If this was how I was introduced to this trend, I would know immediately from the get-go that the concept is supposed to be silly, and I would understand that you're not really supposed to take it more than it is. But a lot of the news sources or trend explainers on TikTok don't really go into the nuanced reactions you can have. They tell it to you pretty by the book, like this.
Is an orange peel about to ruin your relationship? According to TikTok, this trend will allow you to test the strength of your relationship, but how trustworthy is it? Put simply, people are asking their partners to peel oranges for them, and their partner's response is supposed to be an indication of how healthy the relationship is. If they're willing to peel an orange for you, then this small act of service and your partner's willingness to do so is supposed to indicate a healthy relationship. But if they refuse, then it's a major red flag. Not only is this supposed to represent the importance of acts of service in relationships, but this can also test the relationship between your family and friends as well. Have you tried and tested this theory?
And those TikToks are probably made by people who are paid by the TikTok, and it makes sense why they wouldn't want to dig into it. I understand why they want to get through it as fast as they can. I do just worry about the delivery of it, and because TikTok is a superhighway collision of information just piling on top of each other, it's going to lead to places you wouldn't expect. Thankfully, TikTok is kind enough to show us what some people searched after this. Orange peel theory explained. Orange peel theory meaning. Orange peel... Wait. Bird theory couples? Okay, detour. Birds?
The bird test theory is basically a predictor for whether or not your relationship is going to succeed, and it kind of goes like this. Let's say that you and your partner are sitting at a coffee shop and you see a bird outside and you mention it to them. Your partner could be like, oh, that's a really cool bird, and engage with you and take interest in what you just said. Or your partner can dismiss it altogether and be like, Okay, it's a bird. What about it? And the idea is if your partner takes interest in the mundane, little small things that you talk about, the relationship is just more likely to succeed because your partner has genuine interest in whatever you say, regardless of whether that thing is a small thing or not.
Okay, getting algorithmically served new tests to put your relationship through after looking at one, deeply worrying. This one is, I get it, similar to the orange one. It's just supposed to see how well two people get along together and if their dynamic is one that can handle silly situations. But again, if these are delivered straight-faced and without any kind of exploration into how much you should take it seriously, I fear that people are going to actually put a lot of weight on it. And if an entire relationship gets put on whether someone notices a bird with you, it sounds silly, but I don't want people growing up thinking that. And there's some truth to the core of it. Like, if your partner doesn't respond positively when you share an interest, that's worth keeping an eye on and maybe noting later. But again, the whole relationship shouldn't be on that. Here she comes. All right, there's an open flame. Look out.
Careful of the open flame, darling. I take you out of here.
She almost knocked over my shrine to Poseidon. After I was served the bird video, again, algorithmically, the next thing that TikTok thought I'd be interested in was this. I know this is a skit and unserious, but what is the ketchup test? What do you mean again? Why are your cupboards gift wrapped? Why is he using a book and a shopping bag to clean? All right, we're breaching the border of sketch comedy TikTok, so I'm gonna pick us all up and run the other way. Let's rewind and go back to the more genuine, silly reactions that we saw.
Will you peel me an orange?
Do we have any?
We have a lot of those cuties.
You want me to peel it?
Mm-hmm.
Why me?
Because.
Because you lazy bum?
Yeah.
Fine. And then I have to get back to work.
This feels like an average cute one. Like nothing explosive happened, but it was someone testing it out. Now let's look at the comments. I can't remember the last time I ate an orange, but he packs my bowls for me, lol. It's the way she said it with love and affection. A man could never. My answer to this would 100% depend on my mood, lol. Okay, that right there, I think, is the biggest takeaway that anyone seriously engaging with this trend should be taking away with it. This seems like the right takeaway. But it's buried in the comments, and it has to compete with the ones that are delivering it as news. And finally, we hit the biggest problem visible with TikTok.
I really want it, but like I hate peeling it.
You hate peeling it?
Yeah,
Alright,
it just gets really messy.
Okay.
And I have nails, it'll get like underneath them.
Tough luck, buddy. Go ahead and do her.
You're not gonna peel it for me?
Dude, okay, as if I don't do enough.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm being for real. Okay?
You can't f***ing peel this orange for me.
Dude, I ask you to do things all the
I
time.
do everything, I just did your laundry.
No.
And you can't peel this for me?
Dude, come on, man.
Seriously?
No. Figure your life out, dude. It's not all about what your man can do for you. It's about what you can do for yourself, right?
Yeah, that's bad. Out of all of the worst case scenario TikTok examples, this one feels like the worst case. This is one of those videos that went viral and took off and landed on other social medias, which ended up being how a lot of people were introduced to the orange peel theory at all. And what you're seeing is red flags, like this orange test actually exposed a bunch of red flags someone had, and it's staged. This account is just these two people fighting in different scenarios, and TikTok just eats it up. And hey, if that's your type of content to either make or consume, no problem with it. That's all you guys. But maybe disclose somewhere that it's fake. So we know this TikTok was staged. And if we're being honest, Other ones we've looked at today probably were too. But if your first time seeing anything orange peel related is it working, you're gonna engage with every other piece of this trend in a very different way than if you thought of it as like the silly worm question. This is a content trend to the creators on TikTok because a large portion of audiences engage with it. But within that audience, there is a group of people who are not engaging with this as if it were a content trend. They're engaging with it as if it is something to learn. And I know it's a worn out point to be like, everyone on TikTok is young, but a lot of them are. And if people are engaging with this as insider information to test your relationship and see if things are ever going to work out with this person you're seeing, that's bad. People should not learn that way. Considering everything, this is what we've got. And if we strip it down to its bare essentials, what do we have left? Think what you will about couples who stage fights on social media for content, but if it's well acted and believable, they're usually sourcing real tricks people can try. And if we're looking for any kind of positive, I think it is good that a lot of people are being shown and being told what manipulative and abusive language looks like, sounds like. Because again, if you are engaging this, believing it 100%, you hear the person responding that way and you go, oh my God, that's dangerous. You got to get out of there. And maybe if you hear that language again later in life, you have that same reaction fire off in your brain somewhere. So whether you believe in the orange peel theory or not, you are being shown an example of what a couple should not look like. And that can be valuable information, especially for young people who may not be in relationships yet or be ready to start one. And sure, maybe there are some people out there who are just super young, super clueless, and genuinely believe that these orange peel tests can determine whether or not they have a good partner or not. I mean, it's an insanely big world out there. I'm sure there are some people who see this and just take it in as truth. And sure, it might be sad to think about the 10 or 12 little kids who are going to the fruit aisle to test their relationship, but hopefully, at the very least, this just gives them a funny story to tell when they're older. Oh my God, when I was little, I made my boyfriend take an orange test. It was crazy. I'm really happy I watched that Kuncan Dastner video, and I please liked and subscribed, and I smashed that like button, and I rung the bell. In a weird way, if your relationship is strained by a question so simple, then maybe the test does kind of expose that there are problems in the relationship. Maybe not orange problems, but other more serious ones. If you have ever been in a real relationship that needs real repair, you know that you have problems way bigger than worms and oranges. In this weird roundabout way, the tests might end up actually helping the people who take them too seriously. Potentially. I don't know. Does anyone? And here's the thing to always remember with these trends. If I'm making a video on it, it's over. The meme lifespan has run out and it's dead. It's crazy outdated. Sure, once in a while we're gonna see like a reference to it and go, oh my God, that orange thing, and then move on. That's internet culture. And if the cultural zeitgeist had the reaction of just making orange jokes for a week, I'm perfectly happy. So if there's some kind of positive takeaway we're getting from this whole orange peel week, it's that people probably got a lot of good exposure to what bad relationships look like. This should not be ending your relationship. It's just an orange. I'm not animating this, am I? But remember, that does not add any importance to the question itself. It is still a very goofy question. And there's a stark difference between people secretly recording themselves testing their partners versus people pranking their friends on camera. These should be thought of as cute pranks, not as serious tests. An orange is not going to tell you anything serious about your relationship. And really, it shouldn't have to. So when this trend does eventually come back in some new form, I just hope we can all embrace it with the absurdity that it deserves.
Do you know if we have any apples left?
Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of apples left.
Okay, that's good. Could you get one for me?
Why?
And peel it?
Do you want me to peel an apple? I can do that.
Like, peel an apple for me?
Yeah, I can do that.
But like the whole thing, like peel the apple. Just because my hands...
Is this a test?
A test for
You
what?
want me to peel the skin off an apple? I've never seen.
Well, just peel an apple. Just because it would get my hands... And like,
Do you
it
want me
would...
to cut an apple?
No, peel.
You want me...
It's an affection thing.
I can, but I just don't know if it's something you really want.
If I could have you just peel an apple without fighting me, then I think this would go smoothly.
I think this is a TikTok thing.
Reddit, they found us.
And that's all I wanted to say about the orange peel trend. So if you could just call me back. This is the third message I've left you in a row. I don't know why you're not calling me back, but I just want you to know that I appreciate you watching. Okay, bye.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. Don't mind me, just stuck in the cat tunnel again. If you could like and subscribe if you're feeling up for it, that would be great. Doing all the YouTube things to help this video survive would be great. Also calling, like, not the authorities, but maybe like a vet about this, that would go a long way too. If you want your name tattooed on the video like these people, you can just donate $1 to my Patreon. It's at Kuncan Dastner. Everything is. All I have is always at Kuncan Dastner. There's like some kind of loop that's like, ow, stuck on my hair. I guess I'm gonna be like this in the next video, so prepare for that too. Oh, that thing is so dirty. Well, that's all you really need from me. Thank you for watching the video to the very end. I appreciate that. Take care of yourselves this week, and I love you lots. Goodbye.